Hello class, we finally made it to week 4. Today I'll be going over a lot of things, so we'll be moving pretty quickly. First, I'd like to remind you of the features that were promised in my PRD. Then I'll do a quick walkthrough and overview of the features I added through last week before covering the features I've added. And finally, I'll review the frameworks and plugins used. In the PRD, I set a pretty rigorous schedule for the month, and I promised that in the end there would be user registration with the ability to log in, log out, upload, view, and delete files and characters. There would be a combat calculator, random enemy generator, dice roller, and scratchpad with savable notes. But by breaking it into sizable chunks every week, I was able to build upon what I was learning to accomplish goals that were reachable with enough time and effort. For version 1, I concentrated on the registration and file suites. Registration is simple. A user just enters an email address, a unique username, and a password, and after reaching a prompt to log in, they only need to re-enter the information, and they're logged into their own personal grotto. Uploading files requires the user to click on Upload, the file they wish to add, a name for the file, and Submit. The file is immediately on the list, and upon clicking it is viewable in 2 sizes. Simply clicking the X button will remove it from the system. For version 2, I had 2 main features, the character form and the combat calculator. I'll show you both of those in a moment, but it'll be a lot easier with the inclusion of the features from this week. For the final version, I wanted to add a random enemy generator, a dice roller, a scratch pad, and clean up the front end a bit. To begin with, we have the enemy generator. By clicking on the navigation bar, a small panel appears prompting the user to enter a power level. I'll enter power level 1 to begin with. A full panel appears with our character information laid out, like the character form. There is a reason for this. The randomly generated character needs only a name, alter ego, and affiliation added, and it can be saved immediately to the database. Any of the values on the screen can be altered now or from the character panel. We'll dial up a bit higher of a power level, level 5, and immediately the stats changed. I'll add in the necessary information, scroll to the bottom so you can see all the new stats, including the initiative and toughness score that automatically calculate based on feats and powers that raise them, and the skill modifiers based upon what ability raises them. Upon clicking Submit, the character is added to the calculator and the nav bar. Clicking on the character name will bring up the character panel. The edit panel is just like we saw before, and if we change the alter ego of our character, you can see it changed everywhere else as well. Adding a character is accessed at the bottom of the screen. And once on the screen, the user only needs to fill in vital information before clicking Save. Powers, feats, and skills are all in the drop-downs pulled from the database. We'll dial a second character up. Add them to the database. And now let's start a fight. For the first one, we'll pick an attack. Create an enemy named Enemy A with a 15 defense and a 4 toughness. We'll pick a different attack with a 16 and a 5 for the second character. And now we click Fight. The results appear in the results box with the characters separated by faint blue lines, and each round separated by black ones. The results can be cleared, or if a fight is clicked again, everyone will continue to battle indefinitely, with one round stacking above the others. If we open our dice roller, we have a few options available. Clicking on any of the blue boxes with the darker blue down arrow will open that particular section, and with all the characters that have been added already here. The drop-down holds their saves, skills, or powers respectively. The modifier is any modifier to their existing score. Like if this character had to make a will save against an order to kill a loved person, he'd get a +2. At the bottom are empty inputs for on-the-fly rolls, like maybe an enemy A bluffing for a score of 4. No modifiers. You click the roll dice and the roll appears. You can see who it is for highlighted, as well as what they were rolling for in case of characters, what the total is. Beneath the numbers with the roll are emphasized. And finally, we have the scratch pad, where you can leave yourself notes, like all characters get -2 reflex for drinking before work. Click Save, and now if you open any panels or log out and log back in, you'll still be able to see your notes. I still am happy I had the chance to work with Laravel. It was very helpful, and Foundation was probably the choice I regretted most. I found that the CSS frameworks are really helpful at the start of a project, but tend to get bogged down in alterations and fixes later. jQuery only really played a minor role, but I think that's because I chose to use a lot of routes and controllers with Laravel and PHP instead. If I had the chance to make changes, there's so many things I would improve or add. But overall, I'm very proud of the amount of work I accomplished, and I have an end product that's usable. Improvable, yes, but certainly usable in its current state. Thank you for watching, and have a great evening.